What's up, everybody? I'm in Ghana, streets of Accra, so I'm here recording a video. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to ramble on. So let's talk about the difference between Africa and America and the food supply. So the food supply here is definitely 100% better than America, 1,000% or 1,000% better than America. It's not even close, to be honest, but it's still not as good as it can be. So what I mean by that is that, especially when you're in the city, there's still things like Nestle and all this bullshit food that is in the food supply. And when you're doing it's so weird having people look at me, but you have to, I'm learning. So yeah, there's still bad food, and I guess that's the price that you pay when you sick people in a big conglomerated city. That fast food just becomes the norm. Shit food, easy and distributable, easy and easily distributable food becomes normal. And the reason for that is because when you have this big a big group of people in one place, millions of people, to grow everything organically and sustainably and regeneratively becomes difficult. And it becomes difficult because you need fast food quickly because it's a lot of people. And then when people run out of food, they're gonna want to leave the city and it's gonna become a fucking wasteland. So you need quick food, you need quick things. It's so loud, I lost my mic, I broke it. Fuck. But yeah, you need quick things, quick. Cities are all about quick. And there's a price to pay for quick, right? The price is that you lose that nourishment and that quality that comes with the slow burn, right? So, for example, when you raise beef, for example, on grass, you need room, you need space to do that. But when you raise it in a factory, for example, it becomes another thing, right? You just do that in the middle of fucking Nebraska, and they don't do that here, but in America, in a slave factory, whatever, a meat factory, I forgot what you call it, but yeah, in a meat factory, and then you mass produce them in that factory in little spaces, and the problem becomes it creates shit meat, right? So with grass-fed meat, you need room. There's plenty of room. The reason people don't do this is because it's not as efficient for big cities, because you have to produce massive amounts of tasty beef, right? And I'm not saying grass-fed isn't tasty. What I'm saying is that when you produce it in a factory, it's easier. Not only for a mass amount of people, it's easier for the producer, right? That's the problem, really. That's what I should have been getting at. The problem is the producer, right? Because it's easier. It's easier to stick animals in a cage, and this applies to all food. It's easier to do the least amount possible, but when you do the least amount possible, you're poisoning humanity, you're poisoning people, and you're just causing collateral damage, right? Many people in this world, especially in late stage capitalism and all that stuff, I'm not putting down capitalism at all, I'm just saying, I'm saying what it is. What happens is that people begin to leech value, right? And they do that through selfish and manipulative means, and they will never admit it. That's the problem. They will never admit that they're doing this. So they're stealing value and they're hurting other people, and then they think they're doing right. So that's a huge problem that I see in America especially. So here, let's get back to Africa. I'm in Ghana right now. I'm in the city of Accra. Fun fact, I've never lived in a city for more than, unless New York, unless the Bronx counts as a city. Does it though? I've never lived in like a major city for more than, I'd say, a week, maybe a week. Yeah, and the reason I'm so close to the camera is because my mic, like I said, my mic got destroyed. And I don't know if you can hear me back here. I have to project my voice. But anyways, back to it. So in Ghana, the food supply is much better than America, especially in the villages. In the villages, you know, that shit's pure. You know, they have goats, they have chicken, they have root vegetables, yams, cassavas, they have fufu, banku, which is made from, you know, it can either be made, hold on, it's loud. Fufu banku can be made from plantain, cassava, yams, stuff like that. They have coconut water. But when you travel further into the city and then stuff like that, you know, not really Cape Coast, but like Accra, Kumasi, stuff like that. And this applies for any major city. You know, even in America, right? Like, the food supply outside of the city is much better than what you get in the city. In the city, the food supply is so bad. I travel to the city sometimes. I like seeing what's there, what food is there. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Because, like I said, you think there's some, like, don't get me wrong, you know, in New York City, there's some really good farm-to-table restaurants. I gotta eat there. But for the most part, they're getting the cheapest ingredients, the cheapest oils, seed oils, destroying your health, cheapest vegetables, pesticides, agrochemicals, cheapest wheat, cheapest meat, because, you know, that's the business model. The cheapest things possible to feed the most amount of people possible and make the most money as possible. So that's their business model. And the crazy thing is, our society is so unconscious that it actually works. You know, people will actually poison themselves at the cost of their health just for a little hit of dopamine, and they're sucking on tits, essentially. They're sucking on society's tit by eating this shit, and it's fucking just not good for anyone. Literally, it's not good for anyone. Because let's say that you're a producer, right, of it's fucking hot. This is the first time I've seen the sun all trip. I've been here 2 weeks. It's the rainy season, so it's cloudy like all the time. You know, this is the first time the sun's been out. But so let's give an example here. Let's say that you were a producer of vegetables. Let's say you're a vegetable producer. So you can either develop your business model around high quality agricultural practices and stuff like that, but it's much harder. The reason it's much harder is because, well, let me explain that. Let me rephrase that. The reason it's much harder at the start, right? Because wait, hold on. Is it much harder though? You know, I'm thinking here too. Like I'm just on the riff. Like, why? Okay, so let's think about that. Why don't people? Why is it so hard to get organic food to city environments? That's a good question. I mean, why is it so difficult? Is it because we're just so unconscious, people don't care? Or is it because, like, it's literally difficult? Because I grow my own food. Growing food, once you get the hang of it, it's not that difficult. You know, of course, you know, it's laborious, requires time and stuff like that. But let's say, like I'm using New York City, but let's say, like, we can put, like, a garden on this rooftop right here, and that could provide a food for that whole apartment complex, right? Like, that's something to think about. But there's many ways to do that. Like, imagine we could have a rooftop, right? And that rooftop can literally, imagine we can have a rooftop, right? And that rooftop can literally have cows, chickens, sheep on there, right? And they can produce meat and milk and stuff like that. Raw milk in the city, imagine that. That's amazing. Imagine that shit. Come on, bro. Come on. Imagine that. Like, why is no one doing that? Like, why isn't there, like, a little, like I say on rooftops because, you know, it's, you know, fucking having shit, you know, right here. I mean, there used to be horses in the city. I mean, there still is horses in the city. I don't know where they stay, actually, but it's fucking hot right now, bro. Oh my God, I'm fucking sweating my ass off. But So back to base one, back to square one. So let's say that you're in the city, and so why does no one do that? Okay, people just pass. I'm distracted. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I'm fucking hot. Okay. So let's say you're in the city, right? And you have a rooftop. Let's see that rooftop right there. That rooftop right there. That rooftop right there. So let's say that we can get to the point where we can develop that into almost like a micro farm, right? Maybe that's what's next. Maybe that's pushing the needle. Maybe that's pushing humanity forward, right? Instead of just doing the fucking bare minimum, bare shit, and then fucking expecting the most, right? Most people, we do the bare minimum and then expect the most, right? This is so much potential. I can see that happening, right? I might do it, you know, I'm probably gonna need finances to do that. I can make it happen. Like on a rooftop, that's fucking awesome. I don't know how that would work, you know, maybe with the grounding and stuff like that. It might fuck up the animals, but we're gonna, you know, that's something to try actually. That's something I'm really interested in, like a solar punk type thing. Like if you're not familiar with solar punk is like a model of what society can be like in a way that's where nature is supporting the energy system. So you have, you know, windmills, the free energy, stuff like that. There's plants growing, stuff. You know, cities are built around nature, essentially. A society built around nature, right? So you have cities like, what's the closest city to that? Maybe like a city in Spain could be close to that. I'm not sure though. I have to travel there. Definitely on the list. But that would be awesome, right? Like a city built around nature. So you have, you know, vines growing up, buildings. You have trees, perennials, stuff like that, all in tune with nature. You know, it might not happen when I'm alive, but I see that happening in the future, because one thing I can count on is humanity's survival. So that's part of humanity's survival, right? So yeah, I think you know, I want to try that, because that's cool. I'm still stuck on this. So you can raise beef. I think chickens would definitely be the easiest to raise on a building. I think we could figure out cows and sheep like that too. That would be awesome. Fucking awesome. Really fucking awesome. Really sick, actually. So I can just imagine right now, you're on a building, you know, you go up to the top, and then in the morning, you know, you go up to the top of the apartment building or whatever, you see the sun, and then you see all the cows grazing on the grass. You know, you can do fresh grass there. You can even put like grounding mats everywhere, so the animals are also grounded, and you can put your feet in the grass and then ground like that. There is something here, I'm telling you. This could actually be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. I don't know if anyone's doing this, but that sounds really cool. Anywhere in the world, I think you're gonna find just like poor food mixed in with good food, right? Like you're not gonna be perfect. Things aren't gonna be perfect. There's always gonna be something tainted. But you know, I think it's to the degree. You know, if you have a little bit tainted food, you know, that's not a problem. But like in America, for instance, when everything is basically fucking tainted, that poses a huge problem. Huge problem. Because people suffer from depression, anxiety, panic attacks, brain fog, fatigue, mold, heavy metals, liver issues, kidney issues, freaking hypertension, blood pressure, all this stuff. This is a result of a poor lifestyle and really unconscious survival and unconscious decisions on our part as a society. What I see is next for society is really developing our ability to get back to nature, right? To get back to what we're used to get back to what we're meant to do. Because without that, you know, we're fucked, essentially. Without that, we're fucked. And of course, you know, I'm not doom glooming, you know, humanity's gonna survive either way. There's no way around that. I'm not saying, you know, we're trying to save the world or some bullshit. No, that's not what we're doing. No, the world doesn't need us, you know, but I just find it a fun game to really push humanity forward and see what we can do, right? Like, I want to really, you know, give people, I want to really give people something, right? Like, I can do something. Like, I can do something with my life. I think that's infinitely more powerful than just working a stupid 9-to-5, only focused on me. And that's something I've been so guilty of. Sometimes I get so selfish and I forget about, you know, selfish in the sense where it's like, maybe it's not selfish because, you know, I feel like to be selfless, to be a real giver, you have to really make sure you're straight. Make sure you're straight first, and then you can move from there. I know that when I'm straight, when I'm good, when I'm healthy, when I'm aligned with my purpose and my values, it's so much easier to provide for other people and to help other people and to really connect with other people. So I feel like that's where I operate best. And when I travel, it kind of gets weird because I kind of lose my groove, and then it becomes, you know, I kind of get, you know, out of alignment, and then it gets weird. And especially when I stay in hotels, you know, if I stay in like an Airbnb, it's much easier because, you know, I'm basically like at home kind of. I can take all my stuff, I can do whatever, and it's easier. You know, the healthier you get, the more maintenance you need. I learned this from Joshua Mason from the Tik-Tok dudes. That's my guy. He said something like, you know, think of yourself like a car, like a Mercedes, like a fucking Lincoln, like a really high quality car, right? Okay. A really high quality car. So that car, what would you do to that? You would take care of it, right? You spend all that money on the car. You wouldn't treat it like shit. But most people treat themselves like shit. Not even from just a food perspective, but from an emotional perspective, the way they sleep, the way they talk to other people, the way they talk to themselves, and stuff like that. And that's it. It's all a cycle, right? You know, they all have to be in alignment. The circle has to be in alignment. You can't have a healthy emotional life without a healthy physical life. It's impossible. You can't do it because it's holistic. It's the principle of holism, holistic thinking. So I think that, you know, why I'm here is it's to, you know, I don't exactly know, right? But I know I can do something beautiful. I can help a lot of people because I want to. I genuinely want to. Because like I said, like, I can either work a just basic 9-to-5, get a degree, you know, that kind of stupid, and just go to work, come back home, eat Netflix, watch Netflix, watch some stupid bullshit, eat stupid bullshit food, you know, fucking talk shit on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that bullshit that gets you nowhere, that actually hurts other people and creates collateral damage once again, and that fucks up your life. I can do that. I can do all that. But you know the reason I don't do it is because I see the infinite beauty of life, right? Of people. Like, I don't know. Like, of course I see, you know, people can be corrupt, people can be assholes. But like, I always, ever since I was a child, I always saw the potential for humanity. And the reason I saw that is because I could see it in myself, right? I could see it in myself. And I didn't always know which way to go. I still, you know, I'm pretty young, so there's still, you know, some things, a lot of things I'm figuring out. So, but I've come a long way. I can share my story. I can help a lot of people. I know I can. And you know, that's what I want to do. This video kind of lost its purpose, but you know, that's what I'm working on. Just free associating, just off the dome, talking, really building my skills. So that's what we're talking about in this video. I don't know, but I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna do everything here. So I'm gonna work on my body posture. I'm gonna work on my vocal tone, how I'm talking, how I'm being. It's loud. Remember, I'm in the middle of a city, a major city, the biggest city in Ghana. I'm in the middle of this, and it's actually quite interesting because even this city is closer to nature than New York City, for example. With New York City, it's so far. Like, I don't know how people live there, to be honest. You know, on the outskirts, you know, I can do that. But, you know, in the middle of it, like middle Manhattan or some shit, I don't know how. Like, I would go crazy, bro. Because literally, you walk outside, you can't ground. You know, the sun's might be fucking blocked by a building. You're in a zoo. You're literally in a zoo. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. You're in a fucking zoo. But I think, you know, people, you know, one thing I've noticed is that you can't imagine something you have not experienced. Right? Like, you can't even imagine. Like, for a homeless person, unless, you know, they get the right knowledge, they get, you know, they read a book or something, they have an awakening, something like that, but they can't, their consciousness, they can't even imagine what it's like. You know, they can't even imagine the possibility that they can just go get a job somewhere, right? Like, it's not even in their consciousness. They don't even think about it. And I'm not putting down homeless people. No, I'm not doing that at all. I understand that this is a huge problem. But, you know, let's take a better example. Like someone living in the slums or the hood, right? So someone living in the slums of the hood, 3 blocks over is heaven. It's the best neighborhood in New York City. But then, you know, they're 10 blocks away from there. 10 blocks away is hell, and 10 blocks away is heaven. So it's right there. It's literally right there. But you choose to live in hell. We choose always, time and time again, we choose to live in hell. This is not something I'm making up. Literally observe this in your life. You choose to live in hell. Right? And I've been through hell many times. Many fucking times. Especially with health and stuff like that, and heavy metal poisoning, fucking parasites, stuff like that. You know, there's a spiritual awakening that should fuck you up real bad. For the better though, because you get better, you really have to work on yourself and develop yourself as a human being to overcome that. And then on the other side of that is heaven, right? So sometimes you have to go through heaven to get to or sometimes you have to go through hell to get to heaven, and some people get stuck in hell and they this is what they do. Okay, so some people, a lot of people, actually most people, right? And social media has made this much easier to do. So they're stuck in hell, right? They're stuck in hell. And then they project that hell onto the other people, right? Like, so they're saying like, I'll never be able to buy a house. I'll never get a girlfriend. I'll never do that. And no one can do it either because I can't, right? This is bullshit. And people believe this bullshit. Like, people believe it. It actually like makes me crazy because I see like, because remember, the analogy stands. Big ass trucks. The analogy stands. Heaven is right here. Heaven is right here. But then also is hell. Right, so heaven's 10 blocks away. You can just fucking walk there, or ride a city bike there, or take the train there. Do anything. Anything to get to heaven. It's so easy. You know, riding the subway is fucking $3. Come on. And people, so like, oh my God. So people have problems in their life, right? And this is the problem with, what do you call it? Well, it's also a group thing, but this is the problem with echo chambers. Social media has made it so loud. I wish I had my mic. Social media has made it so easy to develop echo chambers. And that means, so let's say, you know, red pill movement, for example. hating women, hating other people, hating other men. This is bullshit. This is all bullshit. And like, you literally see through this shit. And sometimes you gotta go through it, and then you have that, and then you get out of it, right? But some people they believe this shit. They believe it, right? And they have no field experience. They never go out. They don't do anything, and they believe it because it's much easier, right? It's much easier to believe something, to listen to other people and to believe it, than to go out there and really think for yourself and really experience life for yourself, and then develop a positive frame of reference, right? You will get hurt when you go out. When you go out to the world with health, with relationships, with anything, you will get hurt, right? This is just part of life. But what social media made possible, no, I'm not dissing social media, I'm just saying what it made possible, is that it became easy to push your problems onto the echo chamber. And then people get absorbed in this echo chamber, and then it becomes just a shit show, an absolute shit show. And it ruins people's lives. And then people can never see that the problem is them, and they will blame other people. They will blame fucking liberals, they'll blame the government, they'll blame the fucking women, they'll blame men, they'll blame this, they'll blame that, and then they never look at themselves and see that, the real source of evil, the real source of devilry is actually in yourself. So this is a huge problem I see, and the way to get through this is to actually reflect on your life, right? Like, you need a really deep reflection. Psychedelics help with this. I'll talk about that in another video. I'm on YouTube now. We're doing this. We're doing this for real. I'm gonna talk for an hour right here. Hour every day. We're doing it. All right. Centered. Back to reality. What is reality? Okay, so, all right, back. So yes, don't get caught in these echo chambers, and especially with health too. My take on health, right, is sovereignty. It's being free. Always being free. Always making your own fucking decisions. But a lot of people, they listen to one person and then they take that as truth. Don't do that. Recipe for disaster. Because one person does what's best for them, what's worked for them. What works for you is unique and special to you. And then you can share that with the world, and then they can learn from you. And then you tell them, don't listen to me completely because what I do might not work for you. Always learn from your experience. Always, motherfucker. Always. Because if you don't, then what are you doing? You're not living your life. You're living someone else's life. Right? You need to become intelligent enough to take other people's ideas without taking them as truth. Who said that? There was a quote about that. I don't know who said it, but it was like, it's the mark of an intelligent mind is to listen to other people's ideas without believing they're true or something. Something like that. But it is intelligence to have the open-mindedness enough to see different perspectives and to really try them and to see if they work. And then when they work, right, you share them. You share them with other people. But then you don't treat them like the truth because they're not. And of course I'm not saying, I'm not being a stage green hippie type person, relativist. But I'm just saying, like, you don't have to push it onto other people. That's really what I'm trying to get at. You don't have to push it onto other people. You can give them the information, and then if it works for them, it's fucking amazing. You've done your fucking job, right? But pushing things onto other people is not the right move. It never will be the right move because your need to control and manipulate other people it actually hurts you more than the other person. It hurts it hurts fucking both of you, let's be honest. Because, and not even the other person, also life. Like, you're controlling, it makes you suffer. This is not good. Sometimes you just need to let go. But of course, there's times where you need to, like, get the fuck after it. You just have to know when enough is enough, and then, slow the fuck down. And then when it's not enough, and then you need to keep going. Again, this is something you have to train yourself to develop. Because without it, what are you gonna do? 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 What are you gonna do, nigga? What are you gonna do? I wish I had my mic. Listen on the motorcycle. What's up, brother? What's good, brother? You know, when you're told about something and then you see the movies and all that, reality is much different from what's in your head. And here it's, you know, life is life here. Like, people live, people do things. There's a white guy right there. Like, I mean, there's white people here. You know, I haven't seen Spanish people here, but you know, there's white people, there's Europeans here, there's Americans here, Indians, Arabs. You know, of course, there's black people. There's all types of people here. It's not just black people. It is a very alive place. It's, you know, at night, you know, it gets alive. Of course, it's not like New York City nightlife, but you know, it's still fun. You know, people have fun. I seem like they're generally content with their lives. I feel like their government and their country actually cares. You know, actually cares about them. You know, compared to some places in America, but yeah. Some other things are, you know, there are some places that, you know, of course there's villages and stuff like that, not as developed. But like I said, the food supply in the village is actually so clean and really good. It's very quality. You have roots, you have, you know, goat, you have lots of fish, lamb, or not lamb. That's so loud. You have fish, you have goat, you have chicken, you have, you know, there's not as much beef. I'd say what they eat most is probably seafood. You know, lots of, you know, shrimp. There's tilapia. I know tilapia can be fucking disgusting. I'm pretty sure they raise it correctly here. But you know, lots of fish, plantain, root vegetables, goat. So yeah, no, they, you know, especially even in the city, people barely eat out. It's not really common. You know, most people eat at home. You know, I was talking to a lot of people. They said for the majority, you know, 90% they eat at home. You know, stews, banku, fufu, red, jollof rice, stuff like that. You know, with always, you know, there's some meat there. And yeah, and I feel like people are genuinely happy and healthy here. There's a lot of, you know, I feel like, you know, people are very calm here, what I've noticed. Of course, you know, if you have African parents, you know not to make an African man angry. But, yeah. But, you know, I feel like genuinely, people are genuinely very calm here. There's still traditional values in the ecosystem. So, there's that. And of course, you know, there's still a lot of problems, you know, corruption and stuff like that. But like, you know, it's cool. It's a very cool place, beautiful place. It's definitely not, you know, it's definitely not your, you know, beachy. You know, there's a beach, obviously, but there needs to be better a trash system, right? Like in America, I will say our trash system is actually pretty good. You know, where it goes, you know. But just collecting the trash and stuff like that, it's actually pretty good. Here, it's actually quite terrible. Because, you know, let's not take that for granted. It has to be developed, right? A trash and recycling system has to be developed. It's not a given. In America, we kind of taken it as a given, right? We don't even think about it. We don't even think about that a trash system is actually a thing. You know, we just accept it as normal. But the fact that that's a thing is such a blessing, right? Such a blessing. So, would I ever live here? Probably not, no. But I'll definitely be back in the future. This is where my dad's from. You know, I'll definitely be back. So they do drink a lot of alcohol here. They like beer, palm wine. But, you know, of course it's more, you have more like natural versions that are like from they call it chop bars, where like local eateries and stuff like that, they make their own alcohol and palm wine, stuff like that. So, you know, it's better than, you know, fucking drinking Bud Light. But it's still alcohol nonetheless. You know, I feel like every society, every culture is going to have alcohol. Every different types of alcohol. It's always been a thing. It always will be a thing. And yeah, but the alcohols they do drink, you know, palm wine, beer, what else? They like, you know, there's bitters, stuff like that. Those are actually very good for you. I mean, not a lot, but a little bit of bitters before you eat are good for bile flow and stuff like that. So yeah, it's you know, it's been really fun here. I feel like, you know, 2 weeks was a good time. I'm ready to go home and get back to doing my thing. And yeah, I feel like I had a good time here. You know, there was definitely down moments. You know, I typically don't like staying in hotels because I feel kind of trapped in that little space. Like I can't go outside and just, you know, step in the grass, breathe in the air, look at the sun, just be me. But, you know, for 2 weeks it was all right. And yeah, it was good. It was fun, lots of fun. So what's next? I mean, what's next for me is, you know, I'm definitely gonna be on here more. I want to really help people. I feel like that's something I'm really taking on. I want to, you know, really become a massive value provider and really do this for real. Be for real. Because I was taking LSD like a month ago, and an insight I got is like, I'm doing this. Yes, I'm posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, all this stuff. But like, am I really serious? That's the key distinction, right? Because I can do something half-assed, but like when I do something half-assed, don't expect to get the results that you want. And this goes for relationships, for dating, for your health. Like, it needs to be you're fully committed, fully in. If you're not fully in, you're fully out. There's no in-between. There's no in-between. There's never an in-between. And this is something I had to really go deep in when I was struggling with oh, it's so loud, that motorcycle. Okay, this is something I was really struggling with when I was going through, you know, depression and suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. At, you know, when I was really deep in my health journey, was that if you're not fully in, if you're not fully committed with life, then what are you doing? Then what's really going on? If you're not fully committed, you're fully out. There's no in between, because that in between is where the depression and the anxiety and the suicidal thoughts come in, right? Because if you're fully out, you know, you take it on the chin, like you're fully out. You don't give a fuck. That's okay. Admit that. But when you're fully in, you know, you're fully committed. You're engaged with life. You're loving it. You're doing everything. You're on your purpose. You're going out. You're talking to people. Doing all these things. You're improving yourself, improving your life, developing your life because you love it. But when when you're half in, half out, that's where depression and suicidal thoughts come in, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? That's what I had to learn. So I'm fully committed. That's what I want to do. I want to really learn how to talk on the camera and really get better on the camera, and even in front of people, right? Like, because I feel like there's so much potential here. What's up, brother? I can do a lot here. There's so much. So yeah, I feel like I could do a lot here. Always looking for new opportunities, new things to try, new things to share, value to share, because I know I have something to give. And that's what we're working on. So we're gonna do it. And so yeah. So what's next for me? You know, I have a lot of things to work on. I want to work on. I have the garden to finish up. I have to finish up the season. I don't really do that much fall gardening, you know, just because I don't know. I don't really like growing cruciferous vegetables, stuff like that, like greens. I don't really like that. I don't enjoy that. I like growing like fruits and stuff like that, and perennials, and really just being outside and doing that stuff, and squash and stuff like that. But so, you know, what's next for me is I want to start growing marijuana. Definitely I will be on here posting. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. This is kind of to myself right now. I mean, like, you know, cross posting and stuff like that. I'm really, you know, developing better content, right? And making and learning how to sell, learning how to market, and doing that in a conscious way, in a conscious manner, and really providing genuine value to people, and you know, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, you know, there's a lot to this, and I'm learning every day, and you know, I'm loving the process as I go along, and yeah, I'm working on my own, you know, neuroses and thought habits and stuff like that, and habits in general, course correcting those and really working on those. One thing I need when I get home is a nice sauna and a nice coffee enema. Like, that's what I need, bro. Like, literally. When I get back, okay, so what's next for me? I could turn this into more like a vlog style thing. I can do a lot, you know, like where I just get on the camera for an hour a day and just talk and then upload it. I could do that. I can do many things, to be honest. But you know, we'll learn along the way and see what works. But you know, what's next for me is, you know, I'm doing mucoid plaque cleanse, where it's 5 days. On the third day, I do a Zen cleanse, which I found from Josh Mason from the Detox Dudes again, and that really is gonna be a clear reset after traveling and doing all this stuff. And yeah, so where I would like to travel next is, you know, I'll figure it out. I would love to go to Spain. I would love to see what that's like and really learn from the culture, right? Like, here I learned that, what did I learn from here? What did I learn from here? I learned that cities don't always have to be developed. Because I'm used to New York City, right? And cities in America, even cities, you know, other cities across the world are more developed. Because this is a city, but it's not as developed, right? There's still things, you know, I'm here, the sidewalks are like bricks, and sewers are wide open. You know, that's something you don't really see. Something I haven't seen is a lot of homelessness. I don't know if it's just because the parts I'm in. I've seen some homelessness, but not a lot. I don't know how they deal with that, but I'd love to know. I learned that, you know, what it's like living in a developed city, in a developing city, and now, you know, they're always working on things, but it takes time, right? In America, right, we take that for granted because we're so abundant, we're so fucking rich. When we want to build things, it can happen pretty quickly, but that's not the case for developing countries. It takes years to build fucking roads. I feel, you know, I was traveling to Cape Coast. Hold on. We were traveling to Cape Coast, where slavery first started. So they say in West Africa, or whole of Africa. I'm not pretty sure, but there was this road that was just straight clay dirt, you know, bumpy as fuck, for like 30 miles. And the person who was driving us, my uncle, he was saying that they were, you know, it's gonna take them like 10 years to build this. In America, that gets done fucking quick, you know? We take that for granted. We take everyone for granted. We take construction workers for granted. Those motherfuckers are the real deal. You know, I remember I was in a college class with a construction worker. He's like, you know, he used to work 80 hours a week, you know, driving the city. Like, these motherfuckers are the real deal. We take them for granted. We take everyone for granted. We take infrastructure for granted, just in general. You know, it takes years and fucking centuries to actually get to the point America's been to. Is at. I mean, it takes a long time. So it's really cool to see what a developing country looks like and the potential that it has. Because I feel like Ghana has a lot of potential. It's on the coast. The people are awesome. People are amazing. It's just in such a good area. They speak English, so it could be easier to communicate. I think that's why they're one of the safest countries in Ghana. That and South Africa, the two most prosperous countries, it's because they speak English and they have gold and stuff like that. But what's up about that? They have gold and stuff like that, so it's pretty easier to communicate with, like, you know, England and America and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. On my flight back, my dad travels a lot, so he when people don't buy first class tickets, he gets those seats. So my whole family's going on first class. This is my first time going on first class. It's gonna be fun. It's a 10-hour flight to Washington D.C. and then we go to New York from there. But it's gonna be fun to see what first class is like. I've never been on it, so it's gonna be cool. My brother got it going here, so he was like, bro, like I would go up to him and see him just fucking laying down this big ass seat and like look fucking room. I was like, bro, this is fucking lucky as hell. And now we got it, so I'm gonna enjoy that and really see it. And I feel like traveling maybe it gives you like an extra boost, like it feeds the soul, right? And I think that when people say that traveling won't make you happy, that is true in a sense, right? Like don't travel and sip pina coladas on the beach and stuff like that and expect to be happy. That's not the traveling I genuinely like. From sometimes that's enjoyable, but even with that, I always use it as a chance to practice my social skills and meet new people and stuff like that. Like I've never enjoyed those vacations where it's just like you on a beach just doing nothing. That's boring. I like being in the thick of it and being in the arena, right? It's always better to be in the arena than in the stands just watching and spectating. Always. Even though sometimes it's good to do that, but most of the time you want to be in the arena and really getting your hands dirty and really getting the fuck after it. And that's what I feel like I did here. It wasn't all that. I didn't live in a village, but I might do that one day. I mean, it really does change the perspective of my life, because even I know, like sometimes I complain about things, but then I complain about things, and then my stomach hurt. I notice when I'm home and in my routine, I complain about things, and then I don't really realize how lucky I am, right? I feel like it's so essential to be grateful, and it sounds so cliche, be grateful, gratitude, and stuff like that. But until you actually experience what it's like. What's up? What's up, brother? What's up, brother? What's up? I just met someone on the street. My bad. So let's finish up this video. So back to what I was saying. Until you actually experience what it's like not having what you have, you can't truly be grateful, right? So, and this is what a lot of young people, because I've been through it, until I started, gaining massive experience in life, it was difficult to actually be grateful, because I didn't understand what it was like to not have what I had, Until I lost my health, I didn't know what it was like to actually be healthy and to actually have my health and appreciate it. Now, that could be taken for anything, a fucking shower, shoes, clothes, all this stuff. Like, traveling allows you to really go with, maybe go without it for even a week, a few days, and then you see how fucking blessed you are to have the things that you have, even your family, stuff like that. And yeah, it's amazing what traveling can do. Don't expect it to make you happy, but expect it to feed the soul if you work at it, right? That's really what makes you, and at the end of the fucking day, that's what you want. You want to feed your soul. And that's what makes you happy. It's not this pina colada sipping beach vacations that you see on fucking beaches.com. That's not it. It's when you're deep in the trenches, really exploring life. And you can go to a beach. I go to beaches, but use it as a vehicle for something greater than just your selfish fucking pleasure. And that's okay, especially if you work hard and you deserve, a couple days on a beach just doing fucking nothing. That's great too, right? But there's a time and place for anything. Every vacation you have cannot be that. If you want to grow to your full potential, it can't be that. Because going to your full potential isn't about just having comfort. It's not that at all. What's it about is really being in the thick of it, getting after it, and really experiencing life from different perspectives, right? Here, I got to see different people, how people act here, how they behave, how they grow. There's a guy doing cold approach right now. I mean, like, bro, there's a guy just fucking, he's doing cold approach. Like, bro, it's fucking lit. Like, but yeah, of course, the reason I wouldn't live here is because I don't feel like it's exactly home. yeah, like I feel like I gotta travel to more cities, travel to more places, and see what's really up, see what's really going on with other places. Right where I'm living right now, still at my parents' house in Warwick, New York, and still I love it there. But I feel like, you know, my time won't always be there. I don't. Maybe I'll come back and raise kids there. It's a great place, but I feel like I got to explore life more, meet new people, meet other women, and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot to learn and to see and to experience in life, and I feel like traveling can do that a lot. So those are my reflections on what it's like, what it was like in Africa for 2 weeks, in Ghana. It's a very beautiful place, very homey people, like very connected community, very vibrant people, very calm people. I've noticed that, you know, I feel like they're very calm. No, of course they have, you know, they can party and stuff like that, but they're very calm. Like they don't, you know, they're very, you know, I don't even know how to describe it. It's very calm. Especially, you know, the women are very calm, the men are very calm. Like everyone seems very calm. They don't seem in a rush. I feel like it's very chill and laid back, but they get shit done. So that's my reflections on Ghana. And yeah, I mean, I gotta make this an hour, by the way. You know, I said to myself, I'm gonna sit here and record for an hour, so I'm gonna do it. What else? I have 2 minutes left. Fuck. Free associate, okay. Boom. We in Ghana. We in Accra. We got it going. We got it going. You know, we got the showing. Yeah, we in Accra. Yeah, we in Ghana. We in Ghana. We in Ghana. Yeah, the Gold Coast. That's how we do. Yeah, you know we don't coast. We got it right. Fufu Banku all them night. Stay clear. Yeah, you don't want it near. Yeah, African shits. So one thing that it did happen here is when I travel, I always take binders and something called CDS, chlorine dioxide. I got a stomach bug. It was weird. Every time I travel, when I went to Mexico, I got it. I got it here. I still have it. I mean, my stomach hurts when I wake up. But, you know, I'll be fine. It's just, I feel like it just happens when you travel to new places. It's, you know, people, when they travel to Bali, they get Bali belly and stuff like that. So, when I get home, I'll figure that out. Castor oil flush, coffee enema, sauna. We fucking lit. So, I got 3 more minutes on here. So, what are you talking about? We're done. So my teeth are straight now. So, excuse me. I got a Marpy device. You know, I had a really wide gap in my teeth, like fucking 6 millimeters, and they're good now. You know, I feel the bite is corrected. Feels very good. So, yeah, I got my smile back. You know, people thought I fucking lost a tooth. I got a fucking tooth pulled. Like I looked kind of retarded, but I still kind of am. But we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.